Nioh fans rejoice, Wo Long is officially available, it's on Game Pass, time to get destroyed all over again. But there is hope for us normies in the form of co-op. However, being a Souls-like, it's not as simple as you'd like it to be. So let me explain how to play with your friends in Wo Long and a few extra co-op details to think about. The first thing to know is that co-op will not be available right away when you boot up. You have a short tutorial ahead of you before you can play with a friend. I say short relatively because the tutorial part is not long, but the boss, yeah, he is anything but a cakewalk. Depending on your skill level, we're talking anywhere between 45 minutes and like 2 hours plus. So if you expected co-op to help you get through the early hours of Wo Long, maybe think again. After defeating that boss and watching a short cutscene, you'll pick up your first Tiger Seal and notice the addition of online play when you get to that subsequent battle flag. Setting up your lobby is simple enough. Select co-op, not recruit, recruit is for randoms. Set up a password and make sure your friend has done the same. Press recruit allies and you'll be in a specific co-op menu screen. Your friend will choose to join with the same password and they're on their way. We also just use the Xbox ability to invite each other, made it really easy. You can change your equipment and spells before setting off to better suit what your friend is doing. It's a nice touch. In order to start playing, you'll need to select a battlefield, which is a specific level in the game. The good news is, unlike traditional Souls games, you do not get sent home after completing an area's boss, or after death, or even after the level is over, so you aren't necessarily limited to just playing this one battlefield. Now press co-op start when you're both ready, and it's off to slay some demons. Except for one crucial detail. You do need Tiger Seals to play together. In our time playing, we gathered plenty of seals in just a couple hours of playtime. All in all, not that hard to find, but certainly not unlimited. Additionally, you don't have to use one unless your partner leaves the game, which only happens when they choose to. Again, not when they die, or you finish a battlefield, so you're not using as many as you would in a traditional Souls game. Overall, I don't think the Tiger Seals thing is much to worry about. The good news keeps rolling because Wo Long does have shared progression. It's a little complicated, but the general idea is that if you and your friends defeat an entire battlefield together, everyone will have that progress saved. So when they return to their game, they can move on to the next battlefield on their own. One discrepancy we found is that if you only get partway through a battlefield and then leave the co-op session, you will not carry that progress. The non-host players will be starting at the beginning of that battlefield in their world, and the host will start over as well. So it's important that you actually come to the end of that battlefield together to save the progression for everyone. Players also share all loot, so there's no need to return to a level you completed with a friend, as you'll already have all the loot you need from that level. Once you're in a friend's world, it's genuinely indistinguishable from your own world. You can open any door, treasure chest, or similar object that the host can do. This includes putting down battle flags throughout the level. When you rest at a battle flag, you can still sell loot, upgrade your character, change your loadout, all the stuff you usually do at battle flags in single player. You'll even see your own character model in cutscenes while the host sees theirs. It's a very impressive second player agency system, especially for a Souls-like co-op game. From my research, I've heard that the game does have difficulty scaling for multiple players. To do this, players that are over-leveled will be automatically leveled down to match the host's current experience. However, in our personal experience, the game is easier in co-op. For one, unlike traditional Souls games, like I said earlier, you can revive each other almost instantaneously several times in a session. It comes down to about 3 times, I'd say. Secondly, you can split the boss and enemy aggros to keep yourself from getting into too much trouble. At the end of the day, this comes down to preference. Some are going to want that help and some won't, and of course that's why co-op is entirely optional. Wo Long has generational crossplay, but not platform crossplay. So that means that Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and anybody on the Microsoft Store on PC can play together. PS4 and PS5 can play together, and anybody on Steam can play with anybody else on Steam. And that's everything you need to know to play co-op in Wo Long. It's a little bit complicated like all Souls-like, but at the end of the day, it's actually a pretty good system, and we're really glad to see it work as well as it does. Maybe expect a review in a couple months' time if we can get back to this. It's a lot of fun, but we got other projects we're working on. See you next time on another episode of the Co-op Bros.